Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be doing another spooky Halloween themed video and I'm really excited for this one. And like I said in my previous video, I wasn't sure whether I was going to do another squishy tutorial or if I was going to do something different. And to be honest, I was really hoping to squeeze in another squishy tutorial for this year, but honestly, I just didn't think I would have enough time to finish it, so I decided that I would do something different instead. So yeah, this is not a squishy tutorial, but I'm going to be making something in this video that I'm really excited for. This is an idea that I've had for a while now. And how I came up with this idea was actually going back to when I was on holiday in Wales this year. And I went to this antiques place and I saw these really cool decorations there. And they were of these skulls and they had these like taxidermy ravens on top of them. And I just thought they looked so cool. So yeah, like the skulls were fake, but the ravens on top were actual real ravens, at least I think they were. And I think also, because I saw a few of them there, and I think they also had ones that had crows on top of them as well. And I just absolutely loved these. I just thought they looked so like gothic looking and just so like hauntingly beautiful. And yeah, it was just something that just stayed in my mind ever since I saw them. But obviously, like, those were very expensive, so I didn't get one. And then I just recently got this idea, since Halloween is coming up, that I would decide to just try and make one myself. So what I did was I actually got this raven decoration here from Wilko's quite recently. I got this for £6 or £6, and I decided that after getting him I would try and recreate that decoration myself, because the real decorations are just so expensive, like I said, and also I don't really, now that I think about it, I don't really want like a taxidermy raven on display in my bedroom anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to make a much more cheaper version, just using just a plastic raven and also this plastic skull which I got online, and I will link below where I got it in the description box. And I also have an idea for these fake roses, and I also got these today. I got these from the range. It's just these fake roses, and I have an idea for these which you will see later. And yeah, I'm just really hoping this is going to work. And also another thing as well is that I do already have a mini version of what I am aiming to make right here. And my dad got me this for my birthday. So it's just this little mini version of this raven that's just perched on top of this skull. And I'm going to be making a much bigger version. I just absolutely adore this. I really hope the bigger version is going to work out. We'll see. So yeah, this is basically what I'm aiming to make. And yep, so without further ado, I'm just going to get started. Okay, so the first thing I plan on doing is I just want to cut off one of the roses from this bouquet right here. I hope I'm saying bouquet right, because I don't plan on using all of these roses for this project. So I'm just going to cut off this one right here, just using my scissors. And I don't want it to be too long, so I'm just going to cut it probably about here, and hopefully this should work. It's a little bit tough. going to keep sawing through it with my scissors, and hopefully it should break. There's most likely wire under this, that's probably why it's not cutting. Yeah, there's definitely wire under this. I didn't think of that. So I'm just going to try and get this bit off, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so here is the rose. And I ended up having to use some more tougher scissors to cut it off. But thankfully, I managed to do it in the end. It actually didn't take that long, thank goodness. But yeah, I just need the one for this decoration. So what I was originally planning on doing with this is that I was thinking of painting the rose black, but since it has all of these extra parts here, and I'm just not really sure how I would paint around these without getting black onto the green parts, I decided that I would just do something different. So I'm just going to add some blood splatters to the rose, just using my red paint, and obviously I'm not going to, since this is way too bright to be blood, I'm going to mix it with some brown and maybe a little bit of black as well in case I need it. And yeah, what I plan on doing is I'm probably just going to just take one of my paint brushes, and I'm just going to splatter the dark red colour onto the petals, and hopefully it should look like blood splatters. And hopefully that should work out. So yep, I'm just going to do that, and I will be right back. And here is what it looks like after I finished adding on the blood splatters. And I'm very, very pleased with this. I think it turned out so good. I think it looks quite realistic. I'm really glad that I decided to go for white roses in the end, because I was really struggling with what colour I wanted the rose to be, and I almost bought red roses, but I'm really glad that I decided to go for white in the end. And as you can see, I've also added some of the blood to the leaves as well, and also some underneath the rose. I probably added a bit too much, but still I think it looks really good. And I'm just placing it inside this cup just so it can dry upright. So yeah, in the end I decided to just mix some of this red paint with some of this brown, and also a little bit of black paint. I also added a little bit of blue as well, just to I don't know, just to hopefully make the colour just look even more realistic. I'm not sure if it worked, but and I just used this stiff bristle paintbrush right here just to add on the colour. And I originally was just doing this, I don't want to get my fingers dirty, so I was just kind of doing this and just letting the colour just splatter onto the rose. But in the end I just found it a lot easier just to dab on the colour. I think that just made it look a lot better and a lot more realistic. And you can also see how some parts are just, or some of the paint looks a lot thicker, like the blood is dripping from the rose. And yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to go for this instead of painting it black, because I think if I had decided to paint the whole rose black, I would have to have waited even longer for it to dry. But I'm thinking with this method that it shouldn't take long to dry, at least I hope not. So yeah, I might have to wait until the next day for this to dry, but hopefully it shouldn't take any longer than that. But yeah, it came out exactly like how I imagined it would. So I'm really happy. So I'm just going to let it dry in here. And yeah, once this is fully dry, I can move on to the next step. Okay, so I am finally back after gluing the raven onto the skull. And I say finally because this ended up being a lot more of a challenge than I was expecting it to be. This actually took quite a few attempts to do, and I actually had my dad help me out at first, and we ended up trying 2 different glues. So first of all, we tried this, I think it was called mica glue, which is meant to be like a really fast drying glue, and it's meant to work really well, but unfortunately the raven just ended up peeling straight off of the skull. So then we tried hot glue, but again, same result. The raven was just too top heavy, as I was like kind of expecting it to be, and again it just peeled right off. So I ended up having to think of another method. So in the end, what I did was I started off by cutting out a circle piece of just like some regular white felt right here. And then I just glued that onto the top of the skull, just using my all-purpose glue. So that way then the roses would have something to grip onto, since again this is just smooth plastic, it has no grip whatsoever. And I know I said at the beginning of the video I wasn't planning on using any more of the roses for this project, but in the end I ended up using more anyway. So yeah, then what I did was I just took the roses off of the stems. It was very easy to do. I just pulled them right off. And then I just glued them in a circle around that piece of felt. Again, just using my all-purpose glue again. And this is also quite a pain as well, because at first the roses weren't sticking either, and I thought this was just going to be another fail, but thankfully it worked out in the end. I just had to hold them in place for a bit longer. And then for the bit which I was most nervous about was gluing on the raven. So again, I tried adding glue onto the claws, or the tendrils, I think they're called. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. So yeah, I tried adding glue onto them, but again, it was just the exact same result. The glue, or the raven, is just way too top heavy. So if I tried just like gluing the legs or gluing the tendrils onto the skull, with the glue would just it would just immediately just peel off, because it was just too top heavy. So I just kind of just got annoyed in the end, and what I did was I just cut off the legs in the end, and I just then glued the raven onto the top. And amazingly this time it actually stayed in place. So I just glued it to the very top of the rose nest. And amazingly, it's actually staying up by itself, which I'm really, really happy about. However, this still is very, very delicate, so I have to be careful when I move it or if I touch it. And yeah, since the roses are covering up the bottom bit, you can't see the fact that he doesn't have legs anymore. So yeah, the legs were just way too flimsy, so in the end I just ended up cutting them off and then just gluing the bottom of him onto the roses. And that ended up working out a lot better. I really like how this looks. And I'm not sure yet if I want to add blood splatters to the roses here yet. I might just end up leaving them the way they are, but yeah, I'm not sure yet. But I still want to add on this one, and I'm thinking of placing it in between the skull's teeth, or I might place it in the beak, but I don't know if that's going to be a good idea or not, because it's probably going to make it heavy again. So yeah, it'll probably be better here. But yeah, I'll decide on that in the next clip. So yeah, I'm just going to move on to the next step. And here is what the final decoration looks like. And I'm just so happy and relieved that it is finally done, and I'm absolutely exhausted now, as you can, well, I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm exhausted. This ended up being way more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be. But in the end, I'm so happy with the end result. I think it is so beautiful. So you will see that I placed the rose inside or in between the skull's teeth. I ended up having to use at least 3 or 4 different scissors to try and create a slight slit in between the teeth so that I could add in the stem. But yeah, really happy with that. And I was thinking about adding some blood splatters to these roses, but since this took me way longer than expected, I decided I would just leave these the way they are. Also, another thing that I almost forgot to mention about the raven is as I actually redid the eyes, as you can see. Because when I got this, the eyes were basically just 2 red smudges, and they just didn't look realistic at all. So in the end, I ended up remaking them with my fabric paint. So what I did was I just used my red, black and my white puffy paint and just painted eyes onto a piece of plastic, and then once those were dry, I just peeled them off like stickers. And then I just glued them over the original eyes. And that really made a difference. I absolutely love the eyes now. They look a lot like the ones that I saw at that antiques place, so I'm really happy. And yeah, just really proud of the end result. I'm really glad that it worked out in the end, because I was honestly thinking if this method didn't work, I was honestly thinking about just not going through with this video. Now, but thankfully the last method worked out. And I'll quickly just go through all of the materials that I used again. So again, the raven I got from Wilko's, and also another quick thing as well is I've actually named this raven. I've named him Jet, as in Jet Black. It's probably weird that I would name a Halloween decoration, but I did. Just because I like him so much. So yeah, I decided I would just give him a name. And then the roses I got from the range. It was just a bouquet of fake roses. And then the skull I got from, I think it was called the Halloween shop. I'm pretty sure it was a place online. But I will add the I'll either add the link into the description box like I said before, or I might just add the name on the screen. I'm not really sure. I think the skulls have only recently just gone out of stock, but hopefully they will be in stock again on there soon. It was a real struggle trying to look for a realistic skull. I ended up looking on both eBay and Amazon, but all the ones that I looked at were way too expensive and also just didn't look like that realistic at all, and this was the best one that I found. So I'm really glad I was able to find one that looked realistic enough and also one that wasn't too expensive. And yeah, as you can see, I've placed it on top of my drawers here. This is where I like to decorate the most for Halloween, as you know, or as you might already know. And some of these decorations you might have already seen before, like this one, for example, you might have already seen. I got this from Poundland last year. Is this black rose. It's very Beauty and the Beast, except more in like a gothic version. And then this decoration here is new, and I also got this from Poundland. I got this year, and it is this love potion, and I immediately thought of Harry Potter, so I had to get that. And then here I have my dragon skull, which is also a jewellery box. I got that whilst I was in Wales last year. And then these two decorations I also got this year. It's these two little, well, not so little, but these two beetles. And I immediately thought of just Egyptian history with this, which I just find so fascinating. I absolutely love Egyptian or ancient Egyptian history. So yeah, that was the reason why I got these, because they instantly reminded me of scarab beetles. I hope I said that right. But yeah, as you can see, they're very, very shiny and just covered in these gems, which I just thought was so beautiful. And then just this fake spider web here, which I got from, I'm pretty sure I got it from a place called the Factory Shop, or it might have been from somewhere else, I forget. But yeah, I just think this is such a cool addition to this display. Oh, and also you'll see that I have displayed my Casper Ghost squishy as well. If you haven't seen that tutorial yet, then please go and check it out. It is up on my channel. I also have another Halloween squishy tutorial on there as well, on how to make the Hocus Pocus spell book. So if you haven't seen those already, please go and check those out. And yep, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching. This one was really quite a lot of work to do. I think this might be one of the most difficult videos I've ever made on my channel, or probably the most difficult. So yeah, if you did enjoy it, then please click thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel. It would make me so happy if you did. And also please go and check out my Etsy and my Instagram, which are both linked in the description box below as always. And also happy Halloween to all of you. I hope you all have an amazing time. And also, if you want to, please feel free to comment below if you are dressing up as anything. I don't really go out on Halloween, so I'm not really dressing up in a costume, but I am going to be wearing my pumpkin shirt, which is the shirt that you saw in the thumbnail. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed all of my videos for Halloween this year, and please stay tuned for some more squishy tutorials and just randomness coming up on my channel very soon. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this one, and happy Halloween, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.